and welcome to Geeks of the Round, the Dexter Inner Circle. My name is Matt Moore. I'm your host. I'm here with executive producer Deanna Jackson. How's it going, Deanna?
Another beautiful day in my neighborhood.
And the fourth Aristocat, Seth Schmidt.
How's it going, Matt? I'm not so Mr. Roger, but I'm an Aristocat. I got no problems.
Okay. Today we're discussing Sunshine and Frosty Swirl, which is episode 702 of Dexter. And what do you think of the episode, Deanna?
I thought it was a pretty strong episode. It's like I was really curious how they would follow things up after last week. This is kind of, for me as a longtime reader of the books, this is kind of what I wanted to see on the show. This conversation that never actually happened in the books of, this is how long I've been doing this, and this is what it feels like, and just and watching Deb as like huge props to Jennifer Carpenter is like, she sold the emotional torment that Deborah had to have been going through here when she's hit with this bombshell that her brother, who she loves, who is the only family she has left, has been killing people for at least the past 15 years.
Yeah, it kind of surprised her when he said, "Oh yeah, I've been doing it since I was 20." Like that knocked. I think that literally knocked her off her feet. What did you think, Seth?
I pretty much agree with Deano here. The end of the premiere had a really strong dramatic turn, and I really wanted to see what was happening. And it was very well acted. You could really see the emotional torment, and it just felt like some of the imagery, like when Dexter's talking about when he's seeing blood and everything, was very powerful stuff. I really enjoyed it.
It was very difficult after the end of last season, and you had that big bombshell happen, and then the end of last episode, and you had that big bombshell happen at the end of that one. I think it was very difficult to follow up on that, and I think they did a pretty decent job considering how many bombshells have been dropped recently.
Oh, couldn't agree more. It's been just phenomenal just to watch and see how this all play out. And it's like one of the things when the season began that I was really, really scared they'd do is drag this whole thing out for the entire season. Is Deborah going to find out how much of the truth she's going to know? I'm so happy they took care of that in episode 701 so that we're moving on to obviously much more relevant issues and moving this thing on quickly. That's the part that was really exciting to me because I was really scared that they'd go the other route.
Yeah, they didn't pull a Walking Dead season 2, and I appreciate that.
Yes, thank God. Like, where is she? Where is she? It's been 5 days since I found her. She's fucking dead.
Where's Victor? That's what they're doing right now. Where's Victor?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but him is like, we're pretty certain where the fuck Victor is. That's like, that's kind of fucked up. You go from, being in the dollhouse to coming on Dexter and immediately getting killed.
And you're Victor in both, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah. I know. I saw David Cood last week. Wasn't enough of a geek to get that reference. Don't worry, Matt. I had you. I knew where you were coming from.
Now, Now, the very most important question that I have for this episode is what the heck is Lewis's endgame? Does anyone have any idea on where Lewis is going?
When Butthurt goes wild is basically what I'm getting right now.
I don't think that kid realizes quite who he's fucking with.
I personally think that he's starting to get an idea of who he's screwing with, and I think that it might be kind of, well, for lack of a better term, turning him on.
I think so. It's like, he does. It's obvious he does have a kind of a thing for serial killers, but it's like, do you think it's like he's aspiring to be a serial killer, or he has those psychopathic tendencies in and of himself, or is he just a serial killer groupie?
That's just it. Is I think that he's groupie on the way to becoming one himself. Mostly because of the fact that he had worked on his video game for 5 years, and now it means nothing to him now. I think that he's going to need to fulfill that need in some way. What do you think, Seth?
I found the whole video game kind of plot point kind of forced. I don't know why. It just didn't really seem to play very well for me. If he definitely didn't think that something was up with Dexter before, being drugged and left on a bench, I'm pretty sure he's going to have an idea that something's up now, let alone finding him in his apartment the day before. So I'm interested in seeing what's going to happen, but I don't really know what's going to happen with him. I kind of vaguely remember his character. I don't know why he does. I know who he is. I just don't remember all the details for some reason. I don't know.
I'm just sorry they got rid of Bria Grant. That's.
Went to her Comic-Con party in San Diego. Yeah.
Yeah, Seth was just telling me a story about how he went to a party on her roof. Was it?
No, we met her at the iFanboys rooftop party, and we were talking to her. And Pablo tells this story better than I do, but we were talking to her for 10 minutes. And she's like, "Oh, hey, I'm having this party Saturday night. You should totally come." It's like, "Oh, yeah, sure. Where's it going to be at?" And she's like, "Oh, well, you follow me on Twitter?" And Pablo was like, "I'm not sure. Who are you?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm Bria Grant." She's like, "Oh my God, I finally recognized you." So she got to meet the non-creepy stalker Pablo before she met the creepy stalker Pablo, which is the best anyone can hope for, I guess. But yeah, we ended up going to her party for a couple hours before we went to Kevin Smith's Hollywood Babylon that night.
Sounds like it was a pretty fucking epic night.
It was a really good trip in general. We were partying every night.
Now, I have some questions about Deborah. I actually have quite a few questions about Deborah. First off, does anyone here think that they're going to revisit the love storyline?
Please, God, no.
It's like even adopted this, it's just kind of awkward.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, it's not technically like incest or anything, and yeah, I get it. There's no blood relation there, but still, it's like, I mean, it's just kind of creepy.
Yeah, even being from the South, I'm not digging those vibes, yo.
Which is really ironic because those two actors used to actually be married.
Now you're from the south of Canada. I don't think that's the same.
Yeah, but I'm not from the Texas of Canada, Alberta.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
No, I've been to Alberta before. That's a valid point.
Now, does anyone, at one point that killer, I didn't catch his name, orange jumpsuit guy, he ends up leaping in front of the truck. Do you think Deborah's going to think Dexter had anything to do with convincing him to do that?
I think it would be a kind of contrived plot point, but I think it might come up. Honestly, I just thought it was a really great reversal there, where it's like Dexter's talking to this guy and he's starting to have hope. It's like, oh, hey, maybe this guy's reformed. Maybe I can be reformed too. It's like, nope, he's just going to kill himself.
Yeah. Like, I'm pretty much agreeing with stuff there. It's like, I mean, I honestly didn't even think of that Deborah might hold him responsible. It's entirely likely that could be a point for a moment. I mean, I can see her asking the question.
Yeah, because in the books, she's constantly questioning. Like, anytime anyone is, like, sees a knife, she's all like, was this you?
Yeah.
Did you do it?
You know, pretty much anytime.
Did you cut this bread?
Any reason. Which is particularly funny in the books because actually, at this point in the books, if somebody dies in Miami, it's much more likely that Brian did it than Dexter.
Yeah, yeah.
At least we can say Michael Weston didn't do it.
Yeah, we're almost certain.
Yeah. Hey, he doesn't try to kill people.
He doesn't waste time trying.
For those of you who don't get that, that's a Burn Notice reference. TV show you should be watching. Just saying. Who here thinks
It's on
that...
USA, you should probably be watching.
Now, they're treating this as an addiction, this whole Dark Passenger thing. Do you think it actually is an addiction for Dexter, or do you think it's more than that? Go for it, Deanna.
I think it would be fairly interesting if they did play that route and they went on this path and they had him, being a recovering psychopath and then have that faith shaken to something else happening in the next season. Because like at this point, we all know that this is the penultimate season of Dexter and that season 8 will be the final one. So it's like with having that much blueprint and I'm kind of trying to understand the story arc that they could be going with for the next 2 seasons as they're wrapping this up. I think that would be. I actually do think that would be interesting. It's like,
how about you, Seth?
I definitely think that the whole killing addiction would be an interesting kind of viewpoint on the serial killer pathos. But it's like, if they really get into it, if they don't play it right, I'm just going to think about it as every time Dexter gets the urge to kill someone, it's like, I want my soul heroin or something.
Need my fix, man. Need to cut a bitch.
So yeah, it's all going to depend on how it's delivered if they go down that route, and if they don't do it right, it's just I'm going to be laughing the whole time. And honestly, I don't think it's going to happen if they do it. I trust the writers of the show. I think if they do the route, they can pull it off, but you never know.
Well, the writers this whole Deborah being in love with Dexter thing, so even these writers, as good as they've been over the years...
Everyone gets one.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully that was their one.
Now, when it comes to the Russian/Ukraine mob, someone remind me, why is Victor important?
Well, because he killed Mike.
Yeah, that's really the only reason he's important. He's a cop killer.
Wait, do you mean important to Miami Metro or important to the Russian mob?
Important to the Russian mob.
Mobs are all like, when you get high up enough, everyone's family of someone else and whatnot, so I'm figuring he's family of that other dude. And he's a bit upset that Victor's just simply gone missing like that.
I did find mob reasoning kind of retarded stupid. There, it's like, oh, hey, the guy we're looking for has gone missing. There's no publicity that he's been picked up by the cops, so let's go kill the guy that apparently talked to the cops. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because mob killings always make sense.
Yeah.
They're known to do complete and total research before they kill anybody. You know the Russian mob, innocent until proven guilty. That's their motto.
Confirmed by a review panel of peers.
Exactly.
Yo, Shorty, we want to kill this guy. Let me check this. You cite your sources?
Exactly.
Okay, this looks good. Okay.
Wait a second. I don't trust this witness statement here. Go back and ask him some more questions before you kill this bitch.
Nigga, you did not turn this in MLA formatting.
I know. Yeah, this is a 1032 form. You're supposed to come out a 1038, you dumbass.
Did you use Wikipedia as a source? Seriously?
We could go on with this for a while. We should probably move on.
Yeah.
Okay. And really, I only have 2 other questions. One I completely forgot when I was talking about Deb. Over the course of this season, do you think Deb is going to become more an accomplice than anything? Just because she's starting to kind of, when she was talking through in her office, the whole dad thing and the whole 9 yards right before she relented. I don't know. I see that she possibly could be become a Dexter accomplice, much like the girlfriend of the guy in the yellow and the orange jumpsuit.
I definitely think that given the right amount of emotional stress and torment, she might kind of break and get into that just to avoid losing her family altogether. I'm a little shaky as to whether or not that will play out well, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's like I agree. It's like I mean they've already kind of done the whole Batman and Robin thing with Dexter when Julia Stiles was on the show, and while it was really cool to see, it's like I'm not if they went that route, I think this would be kind of going to the well once too often.
That makes sense. And lastly, and I'm leaving it on her, LaGuardia or La Guerta.
Yeah.
For some reason, I want to name her after an airport. La Guerta, do you think she had to become an assistant chief to finally become a detective?
Yeah, I know, it's amazing, right? Just like she's finally made captain, so it's like that's the thing that was tripping me and Aisha when we were watching the season premiere. It's like, when the fuck did she become a detective? Wait a second, she's like thinking and figuring things out and putting shit together. I mean, to be fair, she did figure out that Miguel Prada killed her friend, that lawyer chick. It was either, what was that, the last season or season before that? You know which one I'm talking about. She did figure that out, so she's been showing some sort of detective skills and whatnot. But it was just like, seriously, it's like she's putting that together and no one else really would have. I'm kind of curious how far she'll go with this. It's like, I mean, obviously Dokes is someone who was very important to her. If she finds out who's truly responsible for these murders, as in Dokes obviously had absolutely nothing to do with any of them, and starts digging deep enough, that's going to put her and Deborah at odds. I mean, not to mention Dexter, but it's like, I mean, Deborah knows who's responsible for this, and she's not saying shit. LaGuardia is trying to figure out what Deborah knows. That's putting them on a collision course. And
yeah. And something I was also thinking about is in the books, she would have never figured it out because she was, at least at first, basically in love with Dexter.
Yeah, she also wouldn't have figured this out because at this point in the book, she's dead. She's been dead.
Dead people don't solve mysteries.
Yeah, I'm sure she was happy that the show did a little alteration on the book.
I get to keep working, yay!
Yeah, they could have kept Brian alive too, man. It's like because it's kind of cool, you know, seeing them interact in the books now. That would be awesome to see on the show, but they've burned that bridge, so it is what it is.
Yep.
Do you think we're going to even see Aster and Cody this season?
I really would doubt it. I could see bringing them back for season 8, but because right now with things going on, they kind of have to be shoehorned in, and I don't think that they would do that, at least not yet. You know how it is. It's like, I mean, people from the past don't really start showing up en masse like that until the final seasons of shows.
And I was also wondering if, by chance, wow, I totally forgot my question.
How much wood would Woodchuck chuck?
Sorry, I have a lot of activity going on behind me, so it's distracting me. I'm sorry.
No, I feel Monday Night Football and all that for all those people that are into that kind of thing.
Woodchuck, would you kindly chuck wood?
Oh, that was the question. Did they explain exactly how Dexter can just not come home for a week at a time or whatever and only see Harrison every once in a while?
I was actually looking for an explanation for that, and I didn't see anything.
That's just ridiculous.
Yeah. It's like eventually, it's like, I mean, that is gonna have to be something that's gonna need a fucking explanation.
Yeah. Now, did you any of you have any final thoughts? Anything you wanted to talk about?
No, we already covered the major points I wanted to hit, so I'm good.
How about you, Deanna?
Yeah, I think we've covered most of the high points. At this point, it's just where do we go from here? It's like, I mean, let's just look at it. It's like, I mean, you've got Dexter and Deb in this sort of, you know, therapy style relationship, you know, whatever's going on there. the mob's is getting a little bit closer to what's going on, and I was like, I'm trusting that you guys also saw the next time on Dexter and all that.
Mm.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's like the Russian mob eventually is going to learn the name of Dexter, and I'm wondering how in the hell that comes into play.
That could be very interesting to see Dexter versus the mob.
It's almost as good as my future feature film, Samurai Jack versus Hitler.
Well, all I know is that there's certain things they can do to not pretty much be on Dexter's radar. If they fuck with Deb, he'll kill every single one of them in the city.
Yeah. And I assume everyone just thinks that Quinn's going to start dating that stripper?
It seems like his story arc right now.
Yeah, it's like, and that's a shame. It's like, I mean, I really do like the characters of Quinn and Batista, and I don't feel like they're being, they definitely weren't utilized very well last season, and this season it kind of seems to be less so. I'd really like to see more for them to actually do, because, like, I mean, I really do like their characters, and I like the actors.
Yeah, especially Batista. I'm a big fan of Batista.
Oh, yeah.
Batista season 3 was amazing. I think it was season 3, the one that had the insane woman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was such a great story arc for him and really built his character up, and that hasn't happened for a while. I mean, he was great to LaGuardia for like 4 seconds, and then he wasn't, and then he's just kind of just been hanging out.
He's a great character, and his accent makes me smile.
Yeah, so writers actually do something with him. It's like, you have a great character here. Let's not forget that it is Angel Batista that figured out the true identity of Brian Moser.
That is true. That's true. So where do you think we're going to end up? Do you think, wild speculation time, how do you think it's going to work out at the end of the season? Between, say, the mob and... Well, first off, do you think Aaron is... or Lewis is the main bad guy, or do you think the mob is the main bad guy?
I honestly think that the mob is going to end up the main bad guy, and Lewis is going to be more of a mild annoyance to maybe a serious side problem later. But that's just me.
Yeah, I agree with that, but it's like, well, they could actually go one of two ways. I mean, they could do like a little minor thing with them, or what they could do is kind of have this thing be a minor thing right now, then build up that by the time season 8 rolls around, he's a big fucking problem.
That's the thought, that maybe he's figured out who Dexter is, and it's basically 2 serial killers going after each other.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that. See, again, I forgot my question.
It happens to
so that makes the mob the main villain this particular time around. Do you think that it's going to end up being Dexter versus the mob?
It seems likely.
How about you, Seth?
Sure. It's completely possible, but we'll have to see, I guess.
And what? Sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say, it's like the bigger question to me right now is like, I mean, we know Yvonne's character is probably gonna show up either in season 703, or if not by then, definitely 704. I'm wondering what her character is. Like, so far as like, I mean, I there's very, very little that I personally know about the character, other than there's a little bit of darker of a past than she'll be letting on when she shows up. So it's like, I mean, I wonder how that's going to come into play. It's probably way too early to start speculating on that because we haven't even seen her on screen yet.
Well, that's true. We saw her in the preview.
Yeah, this isn't the stock market. We need facts before we speculate.
Always.
And my final question is, what do you think is going to be the lesson that he learns halfway through the season that by the end of the season he's realized is a bad lesson? Because that's how every season ends up going, is he ends up learning something halfway through, and then by the end he realizes, oh, screw that.
My prediction is that he's going to learn that he can control it, but decide that he needs to be the serial killer that this city deserves.
That one's so perfect, I'm not even going to add anything to it. I'm just going to go with that.
Perfect. And it was especially spooky because of the lighting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get ghetto shit sometimes, but my improv be mad skills, yo. And I'm like, bam, it's October, scary story time.
There you go.
Well, I think that wraps it up here at Geeks of the Round, Dexter's Inner Circle. My name is Matt Moore. Be sure to subscribe to us. You can find us at geeksoftheround.com. You can also find us at YouTube at Geeks of the Round, or evoanubis.geeksoftheround.com. We'll get to Deano's page, and nobody.geeksoftheround.com will go to my page. Also check out Jwatcast for Seth. It's a geek podcast, and it's pretty cool. I mean, it sucks. It really sucks. Watch our stuff, and not his.
We have our good episodes and our bad episodes. But our good episodes include goth poetry jams with celebrity impersonations.
Oh. And that's out. And that's it. We will see you later, and see you. Peace.